So go ahead and customize your bot to give it a different color scheme. You can import a material and apply it directly to a piece. Once we come on here, once we enable the geometry. So if you notice before, there's the controls, and then there's sort of the control hierarchy down here, but we don't see the actual parts of the bot. And so down here under layers, you can come in here and turn on the actual geometry and unlock it. Then it becomes available to be edited, and you can recolor parts of the bot. If you wanted to replace an entire part that has a certain scheme here, for instance all the gold parts at the same time, you wanted to make red, you just grab the red, hold down Alt, drag over the gold, or the orange here in this case, and let go, and it updates all of those to this new material. So go ahead and customize the look of your bot. Also, some of you were using two planes, like a plane for the floor and a plane for the wall. That gives you this line across the horizon that doesn't look great. Let's use the backdrop. There we go. And let's be sure to use a few lights. I'm going to make a target light. I'm going to make sure that this target light has some shadows. Come back to attributes. And I'm going to hit Shift V for the effects setting. Let's see shadows in the viewport and reflections, the anti-aliasing. So this should look good while you're working. Remember, you don't want your shadows to be too dark. So under shadow intensity here, and density, you can dial that down so it's not taking as much visual weight in the frame. There's a light and a light target. I'm going to open this up so it looks like it's a real space, and then I'm going to control drag this over to the other side. There we go. And there I have two of them. I'm going to move this one down, slightly different angle, but not too far down, so that this looks better. There we go. Also, when it comes time to place your camera, a lot of you replace rendering these from an angle that doesn't allow us to appreciate the movement. So you need to think about the silhouette of what you're doing. And so let's make a new camera. Remember to look through the camera. Let's go ahead and have our cameras set to 55mm. There we go. And that's a nice neutral focal length. We don't want to see the edge of the backdrop ever. You can come into the studio backdrop settings, and it's at the top. Yeah, there's a height and depth and width that you can dial up or down so that it looks seamless. A little bit of camera movement would be okay, but don't go crazy with it. Once you have the camera where you want it, be sure to lock it down with a protection tag, Shift-C protection. There we go. Alright, that's better. The last thing, I might tint my lights a little bit, just a very, very tiny bit. And so coming over here, I'm going to use actual color temperature, like actual lights. So we have tungsten and daylight, and one of the looks I like to give is getting some color in there. So a little bit in one way, and just a little bit in the other. And change the intensity of one of the lights a little bit so they're not both exactly the same. If you want to change the color of the backdrop, I don't think they have a control for it here, but you could adjust the material. There we go. Make sure, I would pick a complementary color for whatever your primary color scheme is for the robot, maybe a complementary color for the backdrop. And you have to get out of the camera in order to move around again for your keyframing. And there we go. Remember to use the viewport renderer so that you're not wasting a whole bunch of time rendering. This looks pretty nice as is. And there we go, basic studio setup.